What's going on, everyone? It's Ben from YGO from Zero, back with another Yugi-Kaiba format video. And just like the last couple videos that I've been doing, I'm gonna show off a game with worm control. Now, I know you might be getting tired of this deck, and don't worry if you are, I will be covering the next big sort of tier 1 deck on the channel shortly, which is Stall Mill. But I need to play a couple more games with the deck, get a couple more duel replays with the deck just so I can feel comfortable talking about it. So in the meantime, I'm going to show off some more worm control videos, maybe some soul control videos to mix it up. But do not worry, the Stall Mill video should be coming probably sometime next week. But anyways, if you haven't seen my last couple of videos, this deck here is worm control. The purpose of the deck is to try and get in for damage with the Wicked Worm Beast, clearing your opponent's board, and just dodging removal with this very, very strange, very, very fun monster. So let's dive in to the individual cards. So we have 3 Wicked Worm Beast, who is basically the central idea of the deck. You could argue that you should cut this down to 2 copies and replace one with something else, but I've been happy with 3. It can brick occasionally, as I showed off in previous video, but generally it's pretty good. And of course we have 3 Lojin, 3 Battleox, 3 Neo, the premier level 4 beaters in the format, the level 4 monsters with the highest attack in the format, so these are very good. We have 3 Man-Eater Bug to act as removal. We have 3 Wall of Illusion to act as a wall and also bounce back our opponent's monsters so we can get in with the Wicked Worm Beast. And we also have a Summon Skull and a Change of Heart to act as removal if we draw the combo, but also just to have a big monster in deck in case we need it. We also have Dark Hole, Monster Reborn, Pot of Greed, Raigeki, the other limited spell cards in this format that are extremely powerful. We have 3 Fisher to act as removal. We have 2 Swords of Revealing Light to stall our opponent for a bit. For the traps, we have 3 Reinforcements, 3 Uboku, 3 Trap Hole. Trap Hole acts as removal on our opponent's turn. Reinforcements acts also as a form of removal, but can also deal a bit of extra damage that can dodge around Wuboku, which is the best way to protect both your life points and your monsters in this format. And we also have 2 Ultimate Offering. Ultimate Offering is sort of the other backbone of this deck, and it enables you to have an empty board and feel comfortable because you can always set monsters during your opponent's battle phase. So this is a key part of the deck, and as such, we want to play more than 1 copy, but we also don't want to necessarily play 3 copies in the main deck because that can brick, so we're playing 2 as a happy medium. For the side deck, we have 3 Trap Master to deal with our opponent's Ultimate Offering based strategies. We have 3 Giant Soldier Stone, 2 Summon Skull, 2 Soul Exchange, 2 Side In for 3 Wicked Worm Beast, 3 Wall of Illusion, and 1 Ultimate Offering if we want to pivot into a soul control strategy. We also have 3 Great White if we want to get a bit more aggressive, maybe side out our Wicked Worm Beast for these guys against decks that don't really care about us having a monster on the field or not. We also have a D-Spell, mainly to deal with stall decks, but also if your opponent is setting a lot of spells, this can be useful. And we also have 1 Ultimate Offering if we think our opponent's going to hard side against this sort of Ultimate Offering strategy. We can bring in a 3rd copy to sort of play around the fact that they'll be potentially destroying our other 2 copies. But now that I've gone through the deck, let's just dive right into the duels. Okay, we've got a game against Daeho Zomph, a very active duelist in the Format Library Discord for Yugi-Kaiba. Plays a lot of games, plays some very interesting decks, one of which we'll get to see in this duel. So, we're going to start with rock, paper, scissors. We do lose the rock, paper, scissors, so we will be going second here. And this is not a bad first hand. I mean, it would have been better potentially going first because we got the trap hole. But we still got the Fisher to deal with whatever they bring out. And the Ultimate Offering is good to see, even if we don't have any monsters that we can really benefit off using it with. So this is a pretty good hand. They're going to bring out Battle Ox, set 4, and pass back to us. Wow, that's a lot of back row. We're going to bring out a Battle Ox of our own, and we... Oh, okay, that will get Trap Hold. That's a bit unfortunate. We are just going to Fisher their Battle Ox because they've only got one card in hand. And if they do have another monster, we can just Trap Hold it, which can really, you know, severely bring them low on resources. So we're just going to set 3 of our own, pass back to them. They're going to bring out Lodgin, and we will just Trap Hold that. We figure they probably don't have many other monsters in hand. We're going to bring out Wicked Worm Beast, attack in, and we will end turn, so Wicked Worm Beast will bounce back to hand. They're going to set 1, pass back to us, bring out a Neo, which will get Trap Hold, which is unfortunate. I think I probably should have just Ultimate Offering there to attack in with Wicked Worm Beast as well, as that's pretty free, and we don't really care about our opponent knowing that we have an Ultimate Offering yet. So I think I should have just gone for the extra damage, but you know, what can you do? They are going to Reborn back the Lodgin, and we will just take that damage. It's not worth wasting our Wicked Worm Beast to block this attack. We do have a Raigeki to deal with it in a worst case scenario, but Fisher is a much better option to remove it, so we're happy to see that. And we will Fisher away their Lodgin, attack in for some damage, and we'll pass back to them. They do not play a monster, so that makes us feel pretty good. It means they're probably out of monsters. And we're just going to bring out a Battle Ox attack in. Again, I think I probably should have gone for the Ultimate Offering here, because it basically is just free. But, you know, we chose not to. So they're going to Change of Heart our monster and attack in. Occasionally in this format, people will, you know, do things like maybe discard a card, a spell from their hand to the graveyard, with the expectation that their opponent will understand that they're actually activating the spell and then sending it to the graveyard. And this is sort of a similar situation. He Change of Hearted the Battle Ox and expected that, you know, it was very clear that he was attacking in with it. He's not just changing of hearting it to just get it to his side of the field and give it back. He's attacking in. So, you know, it's always good to explicitly do those actions in the game, but oftentimes, you know, to shorten the time it takes, people will take shortcuts, and I'm not necessarily recommending that you do those shortcuts yourself because they can lead to confusion, but just to be understanding when people do take those shortcuts, and not to be like, oh, but you didn't go to battle phase and attack, because it's very clear that, you know, that was his intention. So it's a good thing to know. We're going to bring out Wicked Worm Beast and attack in now. I guess we didn't want to pay the life points earlier for Ultimate Offering, so they're just going to set 1, Fisher away our Battle Ox, and we're just going to bring out Wicked Worm and try and attack over their monster. We unfortunately can't attack over it, but it's not the worst. And we do have a Wall of Illusion to set off of Ultimate Offering, which is very nice. We're going to bring out Pale Beast, and this is a card we haven't seen yet. And it does signal that they're playing a somewhat interesting strategy here. Because generally you don't see people playing monsters like this, which are, you know, less good beaters, if they don't have some sort of interesting tribal strategy or something like that. Or maybe like a Last Will turbo strategy. You know, so it's interesting to see this card, and it does tell us that Deo's probably on one of those sorts of strategies. So they're going to try and attack in. We are going to pay 5 to set Wall of Illusion, and they will use reinforcements so that they can get over the wall, but we are just going to pay another 5, bring out a Wicked Worm Beast. They will try and get over that with reinforcements, but we have a reinforcements of our own. So we will be able to get rid of their giant soldier. And they'll pass back to us. We will just attack in with Wicked Worm Beast. Deal 14. set a Waboku, pass back to them. And they are going to activate Forest and then summon Pale Beast. So we will just trap Hole, knowing that that is the only monster that they have left. And the Forest does, reveal, it finally, confirms that they are on a tribal strategy. So this seems to be a sort of Beast tribal strategy. So it would bump Pale Beast up to 1700, basically make it like another Neo or Battle Ox. So we're just going to trap Hole that away, make sure that they don't get the chance to attack in with it. And we draw a Neo of our own. We are not going to play the Neo right now, because we don't really feel the need to. But we are going to start with the Wicked Worm Beast. And that doesn't get trap hold, so we will just go for the Neo now. Because we started with the monster that they knew about, just because if they did have a trap hole, it would be the prime trap hole target. But we are just going to go for lethal damage here. So we are going to bring out the Neo now, and it turns out they do have a Boku. So we get the Wicked Worm Beast back, and they're going to bring out a Login, which is a pretty good draw on their part. But unfortunately for them, we do have a Raigeki, and we know that they don't have any more back row. So we will be able to get in for damage. And funnily enough, Wicked Worm Beast is a beast, so Forest will actually affect it as well, bumping its attack up to 1600. Which, it doesn't really make too many meaningful differences here, but it is something funny. So we're going to set one, pass back to them. They're going to set one, pass back to us. We can just win here with the Man-Eater Bug in attack mode, but if that's a Waboku, we don't necessarily want to do that. So we are going to bring out a Wicked Worm Beast. They will trap hole it, so now we feel comfortable paying 5, bringing out Man-Eater, and attacking in for game with our 650 attack Man-Eater Bug benefiting from Forest. So that's game 1, and I believe that's the first time a tribal strategy is shown up in Yugi-Kaiba format, so that is a fun milestone for the channel to reach. But I think that this duel also showed off some of the issues with a tribal strategy, in that you have to play some weaker monsters like Pale Beast to facilitate such a strategy, and also, if you draw the Forest and you don't have any monsters, then it doesn't really help you much. So I do think the deck is weaker than some of the other tier 1 decks. It's probably like tier 2 or Rogue, but it's still interesting to see. So let's see how it plays in games 2 and 3 potentially. And we are going to go second here because we won the first game, so they get to choose. They're just going to bring out a Neo and set 1. And we have a bit of a choice here. We'll bring out a Neo of our own. That will get trap hold. I was going to say we had a choice whether to just try and attack into the Neo here or just wait until next turn. But they made that choice for us. So we're going to set 2, pass back to them. They're going to Pot of Greed, bring out a Login, and we will just Waboku that. Pass back to them. We're going to bring out Battle Ox, and we're going to try and get over Login. I think actually there was a very good argument to be made here for change of hearting the Login, attacking over the Neo, attacking him with the Battle Ox, and then next turn having reinforcements to protect Battle Ox from Login. But, this is what we chose to do, and I think it makes sense. This conserves the change of heart for later if we draw Summon Skull. If they have a set monster that we think is a Man-Eater, we can take it with that. So I think it's not a bad play to do this. It's just a dangerous one. They're going to bring out Pale Beast, and they will Fisher away our monsters, and then activate Invigoration on the Pale Beast. So actually, it wouldn't have really made a difference here because they would have just had the Login instead of the Neo this turn. And we wouldn't be able to use our reinforcements anyways. So they are going to get in for 3600 because the Invigoration is boosting up the Pale Beast. And then they'll pass back to us. Wall of Illusion's a very good draw. I'm not sure we should have set it here because the Pale Beast will be able to get over it with Invigoration. I think maybe we should have summoned Neo, attacked into Pale Beast with reinforcements, and they probably wouldn't have been able to kill us, even though they could have likely cleared the Neo. But at least this way, we deal with the Invigoration. The Invigoration will be gone because Pale Beast will bounce back to hand, and Invigoration will just be destroyed. So I guess that makes sense. But we are playing this a bit risky. And they will set 3 and pass back to us. Lodgin's a very good draw, but we're just going to bring out a Neo instead. And we are going to change of heart their face down. Oh, that was a change of heart. So actually, I couldn't have done what I was saying. I was thinking it was a reinforcements back earlier in the game, but no, yeah, I couldn't have done that. So yeah, I think we did make the right play there. Nothing we could have really done instead of that. I guess we could have change of hearted their Pale Beast to attack over the Neo, but I don't think that was the good play. So we are going to attack into their Neo with our Neo because it's basically our only option at that point. And we will just clear their Giant Soldier by attacking to Neo. And we will pass back to them. And we will just admit defeat because we know they have Pale Beast in hand. So I do think I majorly misplayed there. I should have probably summoned out the Lodgin to attack into the Neo. It would have played around a Waboku, and so I think I should have done that. But it's tough to say. In the moment, you're trying to consider all the back row they can have, and if they have reinforcements, then we'd lose out on the Lodgin. So I don't know. But you know what? That was just a tricky game in general. We didn't draw many traps, which is unfortunate. And they were able to just keep on the offensive pressure pretty much the entire game. And they were able to win with that. So let's go on to game 3 then. And as a note, I don't think we sided into anything in any of these games because we could have sided into a D-spell potentially. That can help against tribal strategies. But, I mean, generally, there are other ways to remove equipped spells because you just clear the monster they're equipped to, and then they go away. And we don't really care too much about the field spell, so I don't think we sided into D-spell here, even though I guess we could have. But we are going to go first, and this is a bit better of a hand now. I'm going to say this is a pretty bad hand because we didn't have any trap cards like last time. No spell cards either. But that Waboku helps a little bit. So we're going to bring out a Neo. We're going to set 1, pass back to them. They're going to bring out the Pale Beast, and they are going to just fisher away our Neo. Attack in. We'll take 15 here. They're going to set 2, pass back to us. And Lodgin's a pretty good draw. It allows us to clear the Pale Beast if we so choose. I guess we're going to go for the Man-Eater Bug because if they do have a Trapple or something, we don't want to take another 15. So we're just Man-Eater bugging, blah. And they're going to attack in with Pale Beast. So we will pop it with the bug. And they will activate Last Will, which is an interesting inclusion into this deck. But I don't think it's a bad inclusion into this tribal deck because Pale Beast does have 1500 attack. So you can fetch it out from deck when one of your other ones is destroyed. But they're going to go for a Wicked Worm Beast, which I do think is the better monster to Last Will out. Because, again, it's really tough to remove this card if you don't have Trap Hole or Man-Eater Bug. And right now we don't. I'll also use this as an opportunity to talk about Last Will potentially being in the Worm Beast deck. Last Will could allow you to fetch out a Wicked Worm Beast if your other Wicked Worm Beast dies, or if one of your monsters get Trap Hold or something, to keep on the offensive pressure. But I am honestly not sure what I'd cut for it. And honestly, I feel like the card is a little bricky. Oftentimes, if your opponent is trap holding something like a Lodgin or a Neo, a Wicked Worm Beast won't necessarily be useful in that situation anyways, because you'll be using the Lodgin or Neo to probably clear a monster. There are other cases, of course, where that's not true. Like if you're going for damage at the end of the game, like in game 1, and you bring out the Wicked Worm Beast and they trap hold it, then Last Will can win you the game there. but I don't know. It's just, I think it's a bit too niche. And even though it can get you one of your best monsters in the deck, I just don't think it's worth playing. Now, I've opened up every video saying you could probably cut one Wicked Worm Beast and replace it with something else. I don't think Last Will is a good replacement for a Wicked Worm Beast, because if you ever draw Last Will, that could have just been a Wicked Worm Beast, because you replaced a Wicked Worm Beast with it. So if Last Will is going to be Wicked Worm Beast anyways, it's better to have a Wicked Worm Beast that's not conditional, because Last Will needs a monster to be destroyed to actually become a Wicked Worm Beast. So that's my thoughts on Last Will in this deck. But I think that it's definitely something that could be experimented with, and if more people start playing this deck and tinkering with it, I definitely think it's something to consider. So I'd be curious to see if anyone includes Last Will in this sort of deck and has very positive results and manages to prove me wrong here. But anyways, with that tangent out of the way, they're going to just set one, pass back to us. And Trap Hole is very good. This will allow us to deal with the Wicked Worm Beast, so that's very nice. We're going to bring out a Lodgin, and we're going to attack in. I think we should have actually brought out a Wicked Worm Beast here, because, again, if it's a defender, we're not getting over it. And if it is a bug, we're okay losing a Wicked Worm Beast because we already have another one in hand. But, hindsight's 20/20. And we will lose the Lodgin. They will bring out Wicked Worm Beast, which we will just Trap Hole. They're going to set one, pass back to us. And we are going to bring out a Wicked Worm Beast, which will get Trap Holed, unfortunately. So we'll just set one, pass. It's going to be a Lodgin, and they're going to attack in for 18. Pass back to us. Lodgin of our own is a very good draw. We'll try and bring it out, and we'll get Trap Hold. So unfortunately, we won't be able to take advantage of that. They're going to attack in for 18, and we'll take it. And Giant Soldier Stone's very good. It will act as a defensive wall to stave off the Lodgin, hopefully, and enable us to draw into something that can clear it. They're going to bring out a Battle Ox, and they will Raigeki our Giant Soldier, because this is game if we don't have Waboku. We will just Waboku, but that's very unfortunate to see. Dark Hole, on the other hand, is not unfortunate to see. So we will Dark Hole their board, bring out Wicked Worm Beast, attack in for some damage here, and we will just pass back to them. They're going to set one, pass back to us. Ultimate Offering is not very good in this situation because we don't really have any monsters to make use of it with. So we'll just set it and pass. We figure that that's likely a bug because if it was a defender, they could have maybe summoned it and attacked in for some damage. So they're going to bring out Giant Soldier, and they're going to try attacking in. We do have the Ultimate Offering, so we will use it. They're going to pass back to us, and Neo's a very good draw here. We'll bring out the Neo. We will attack into the Giant Soldier, and then we will attack into the Bug. The Bug will pop our Worm Beast, but at least we have a Neo on field. They're going to set one, pass back to us. Fisher's very good here. So we're just going to attack into their monster. If it's a defender, we can Fisher it away, or we could always use reinforcements to get over it. But it is, in fact, a bug. So now we don't have any monsters to use with the Ultimate Offering. And they will bring out a Neo, attack in for a lot of damage. We're at very high risk now. Reinforcements is not the draw we wanted to see. We will Fisher away their monster, set the reinforcements, and pray they don't have another monster. But they reveal that they do have one. So that will be the end of the game. I wanted to show off these duels because I always think it's very cool when a tier 2 or just sort of less powerful deck does manage to win a game against a deck that's generally seen as being a bit stronger. Now, I'm not sure if people would generally consider Worm Control a strong strategy. I think it's pretty strong based on all the games that I've played with it, all the time that I've put into it. But as this game shows, any deck can win in this format. It does depend partially on what you draw and how you play. And so even if a deck is generally considered to be, worse than another deck, that deck can still win. And that's part of the fun of the game. The outcomes of these games are not determined just based on what decks both players enter the duel with. The games are determined by the cards you draw, how you play them, and how your opponent plays them. And I think that's part of what I love about this game. You know, sure, some decks will be an uphill battle to win with, but any deck, well, most decks can win. And it's always just a glorious moment when you do win with a deck that was a bit of an underdog, that is generally viewed as weaker than the deck you're going up against. So I wanted to show off this game to show that those moments can happen, because I'm planning on also diving into some of the more jank deck strategies, probably starting after I do some stall mill videos. And tribal decks are definitely on my list of things to cover, but I have not actually, played much with the strategy, and I don't anticipate winning much when I do play the strategy. So I wanted to show off this game beforehand to just show that, these decks can win in case I don't manage to get many wins out of them when I duel with them. But anyways, moral of this story, Pale Beast, best monster in the format. Invigoration, best spell in the format. And we're in the tribal meta now. Soul Control, yesterday's news. Tribal strategies are the new way to go. But that's going to do it for another video. I hope that you all enjoyed it. I probably will not be able to put out a video tomorrow, but I should be back to business as usual next week, starting Monday. So look forward to that. And if I can get out a video, I will, but it's not looking likely right now. But whenever I get out the next video, I shall hopefully see you there. This has been Ben from YGO from Zero. I'm signing off.